This video is sponsored by SquareSpace. SquareSpace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online, but more on them later. So one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because of a question I received in a recent Q&A asking, why is it that only flippers seem to be able to purchase brand new Rolex Sports Models? And I used this question in that Q&A thumbnail, and sweet Jesus, did it get some emotional responses? So I thought, this feels like an entire video. Two things I need to say before we get into it. For one, Rolex availability seems to be different in different countries. Here in the UK, where I live, models are becoming more and more available again, and it feels like the Rolex purchasing experience is returning to the way it was pre-pandemic, which is a great thing. And two, I am fully aware of how out of touch this entire video concept is. If your greatest frustration in life is Rolex availability and it's just too difficult to purchase a luxury watch, I mean, you're doing okay. I know it is frustrating. I'm waiting for a few watches right now, but let's come back down to earth and remember how ultimately unimportant this is. Starting off with this comment that kicked this whole thing off. Why is it that only flippers seem to be able to purchase brand new Rolex sports models? I think the key word here is seems. I think it seems like only flippers are getting something when we really want a specific watch, and then we see them start cropping up all over on the secondary market. I have my name down for a 36mm Celebration Oyster Perpetual. I've made myself almost embarrassingly available for this. Desperate, one might even say. I just freaking love this watch. I think it's a true Rolex collector's watch. I love the Oyster Perpetual, and I just think it's so fun. I haven't received an inkling of hope that this one is coming to me, and it is absolutely deflating every time I see one crop up on Chrono24, and it's like, I would never do this. But the fact is, Rolex watches aren't only being sold to flippers. I picked up a stainless steel Daytona in August 2020. I'm not a flipper. My husband has the 41mm Oyster Perpetual Celebration. Once again, not a flipper. It's not going anywhere. When I go to watch collector meetups, there's loads of people who are getting the call or showing off their latest pickup. It just sucks when you're waiting for something, you'd love to have it, and you see it cropping up secondary. It's a bad feeling. Rolex produces over 1 million watches a year. In 2023 alone, Morgan Stanley estimates that Rolex sold 1,240,000 watches. If you search up Rolex in Chrono24 and limit the dates between 2023 and 2024 to make it extra generous, there are 24,486 listings as of the day of filming, meaning about 1.9% have been flipped. But that's all of Rolex, so that's still got your Datejust in there, your ladies' Datejust, and it's not just professional models, like this question is asking about. Let's narrow down to just the stainless steel Daytona between 2023 and 2024. 520 listings in the whole world as of the date of filming. If we do that same search for stainless steel Royal Oaks between 2023 and 2024, there's 660 listings. And I feel pretty strongly, based on the numbers, that there were more Daytonas sold worldwide than AP Royal Oaks, meaning a higher percentage of APs are getting flipped over Rolex. Where am I going with this? What am I doing? What am I trying to say? Rolex authorized dealers aren't only selling to flippers. It seems like less than 2% are ending up on Chrono24, and even if we inflate that number, let's say it's 5 to 10% of Rolexes are getting flipped because not everything ends up on Chrono24. That means 90% to 95% are not going to flippers. Hey guys, Editing Brittany here. I don't feel amazing about the math part on this. I feel like there's a lot of other contributing factors, and I think there is more to this. And math has never really been my strong suit anyways. But I'm leaving this in here because the crux of what I'm trying to say is I don't think Rolex watches are being sold to as many flippers as people think or as people theorize. And that's all I'm trying to say here. Perhaps your AD isn't the best and they're not being straight with you, and maybe you should try to purchase elsewhere if you can. Depending on what model you're trying to get, maybe you haven't built up that relationship as much as it needs to be built to buy a specific piece. I have an amazing AD, honestly. They're stand up and they're doing everything they can to weed out flippers. I hope you get the call on the watch that you want really soon. Show your face at the AD, talk to them about watches, make sure they know you're in it for all the right reasons. And I believe you're going to get it. I believe you'll get the call. Also, I said this at the beginning of the video, but this video is sponsored by SquareSpace. Thank you so much, SquareSpace. So I've wanted to work with them for a long time now because I've been using them for a long time now, about a year. If you're doing anything online or offline, you really need a website. Whether you're a content creator, growing a brand, or selling a product like artistic pictures of sriracha, SquareSpace is your friend. They have easy-to-use professional website templates that look fantastic, then you can customize it to fit you. With Fluid Engine, you're able to reimagine your website and drag and drop things to look exactly how you want it to look. You can use SquareSpace to set appointments with your clients, run an online store, promote your brick and mortar store, or sell merch, which is actually something I really need to get on and make happen. It feels wrong to me that there's still zero Brit Pierce merch. But I will 100% be using SquareSpace to promote and sell my merch whenever I pull my finger out and actually make that happen. Head on over to squarespace.com/BritPierce for a free trial, and so they know I sent you. And when you're ready to go live and launch, you will save 10% off a website or domain from using my link. So if I was you, I'd go check that out. So this is the other big problem: supply and demand. The demand for certain Rolex models, namely stainless steel sports watches like the Submariner Date, Daytona, and GMT Master 2, far exceeds the supply. This isn't something unique to watches. This is something we see all the time in the designer handbag world, most famously with the Hermes Birkin bag and the Kelly bag. We see it with fine and rare whiskeys and wine, comic books. This is hardly exclusive to watches. Now, it isn't breaking news, we've known this for a while, but Rolex has announced they're opening 3 temporary factories to meet the increased demand, set to open in 2025, and a new permanent factory for 2029. So the brand is trying to ramp up production, but when you're doing things at this size and at this scale, it just takes time. I think there's a specific way they're going to play this. I don't think they're going to flood the market with watches, which would then hurt their luxury reputation. They want their products to be desirable, coveted, and to feel exclusive and special. But I think they certainly don't want things to be like they were in 2022, ever again, where Rolex authorized dealers' windows were completely empty and there was such limited stock. I honestly just think they want things to be back the way they were in 2018, 2019. There were pieces in the window. You could easily buy a stainless steel Datejust, Oyster Perpetual, just walking in, even the odd Explorer or even Submariner from the window, while still having those special collector's items that are trickier to get, like the Daytona, green bezel Submariner Date, etc. Now, I know this might not be the case where you live, but it certainly is here in Bristol, England. It isn't what it was in 2022 anymore. The watch market has taken a notable downturn. Coveted pieces aren't selling for what they were. Many still above retail, but it's not like what it was. The crazy gold rush is over. Everything's coming back down to earth, and that is a good thing. And this is the last piece of the puzzle that I feel like I don't talk about enough: different authorized dealers and their practices. Rolex claims they are taking steps to combat against flippers, and ADs are encouraged to sell watches to genuine enthusiasts and people with good purchase history. Hold on to that purchase history note, because we're going to come back to that. Individual authorized dealers do things differently. There's no surefire way to get that piece you've always wanted, but my general advice is always show your face often, be friendly, and talk watches. Make sure they know that you are an enthusiast, you're in it for the right reasons, and if this piece was to be allocated to you, you will actually buy it when it comes through. I spent a long time working in retail, not in watches, just in clothing and handbags and that kind of stuff. And we'd have hard to get pieces come through. We would generally allocate those pieces to longtime customers who have spent a lot of money with us, and customers we just generally liked. I'm not sure I should be saying this, but it is true. If I just really liked a customer, even if they hadn't spent the most money with us, but I knew this dress or bag or whatever it is would be something so special to them, I would probably allocate it to them. I feel like I shouldn't be admitting this. There were no secret backdoor dealings or any conspiracies. It was just longtime customers and customers we liked a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. I know a lot of people believe the conspiracy that authorized dealers are doing these backdoor dealings with the secondary market. Maybe there are some who are doing that, but I would certainly say it's not the majority. Now, purchase history. I said we'd be swinging back to this. I feel like it's a point of contention and I can see both sides of it. I've gotten in with my authorized dealer because my husband has been purchasing from goldsmiths since about 1997, 1998. But it really is tough times for new enthusiasts trying to get certain Rolex models. So ADs often sell desirable Rolex models to people with a good purchase history because it is the easiest way to weed out flippers and thus keep Rolex happy and keep their Rolex account. Rolex has really been clamping down on this, and the safest way to ensure they aren't inadvertently selling to the wrong person is to sell to people with a proven track record. I really think that's all it comes down to. But the flip side is, it's harder to get started on your Rolex collection if you're new to the hobby. But it isn't impossible. My good friend at Watch Hightower bought his first Rolex recently, a green dial Oyster Perpetual, from building a good relationship. But I really do understand people's frustrations when they're waiting. They'd love to have this watch. They have the money ready, and they're just not getting the call. Hey guys, Editing Brittany here. I'm very pregnant, that's why I'm laying in bed, but I just thought of something else I should probably include here. I think also one thing that really helps us is that we buy other things through our authorized dealers as well. Wedding rings, like a necklace from my mom for her birthday or something. We got a few Tudors, Cartiers, all sorts. So that works for us because we're watch collectors and we just want all sorts. And all those things do help towards you kind of unlocking some of those Rolex watches or different watches that you want. But once again, that's because we're both watch collectors and we just want so many different things as well. If you are just after like a one and done GMT Master 2, maybe a BLNR, and they're not selling it to you, I understand the temptation to go secondary. My general advice almost always is do not pay over retail for a watch. So if you are going to go secondary and spend that little bit more, and spend that premium because you just want a one and done. You're not here to buy Cartiers. You're not here to buy jewelry for your mom. At least wait till it's bottom of the market. I think we've got a bit lower to go. Things are looking better now, but I think there's a bit lower to go still. Yeah, I completely understand the temptation to pay the premium as well if you're like, they're just not going to sell it to me. Anyways, those are just some of my thoughts on Rolex flipping, scarcity, all that stuff. Any juice that you know that I should know, I'd love to hear it in those comments down below. I love Rolex speculation. Thank you so much to SquareSpace for sponsoring this video. And now, let's thank the gorgeous, fabulous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Ooh, 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 it's the patron song. It's a very contentious thing, but the patrons like it, and that's what matters the most. Thank you, Pope, to patrons. Thank you all to patrons. Just patrons. Thank you, even not patrons who watch my videos. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the names on the screen.